Hey, how's it going?
Carlos, it's going well. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for reaching out.
Yes, sir, of course.
So you're 18, you live in Texas, and you live in Austin,
Yes,
actually, specifically.
Yeah, well, a little near Austin, under Austin and Buda.
Yeah, I know Buda. I pass it all the time.
Yeah.
You said that you buy and you sell and you trade. You like doing that type of stuff.
Yes, I do. I actually buy and sell trade gold, few watches, and shoes. I have some, shoes. I've sold shoes before, and just a bunch of, buy, trading, and selling.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I love that you reached out. The thing that got me was you were like, hey, I've got a great work ethic. You work out 6 times a week. You
Yes,
actually,
sir. Yes, sir.
you wanted to learn some things. What made you reach out?
Well, I saw one of your posts on Reels, and I've been more since high school is coming to an end. I'm graduating here in May. I just been looking for something to do, something to pick up, something to, just have a plan. And my grandfather actually is a realtor, and he has his own brokerage. So I've been in that that kind of state of mind with the houses and the house market. So I saw a post about a first comer making about $14K, and it was very it was eye catching just seeing those numbers and how easy it was, and I like that process. So yeah.
Right. Well, just like flipping, a watch or some shoes, you might make a percentage of the shoe. Like what would you say you might make on as a percentage of a shoe flip?
Okay, so if you were to buy, say, a shoe for 120 and then go and resell it for about 180 to 200, you can have like a margin of $60, $40 profit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right, which is about 20%, 10 to 20%. Yeah.
20, yeah.
Yeah. So on a house, for example, you might be able to make 10% of the total value of the house, and it's worth a lot more than a shoe. So I don't know how much effort it takes to sell a shoe, but it's probably going to take more effort, to flip a house.
For sure.
But the juice is worth the squeeze more. So yeah, on a house flip, I'll tell you about a deal I did. It was bought it for 160. It was run down, complete disrepair. I actually fixed it up for 125. And then, so I was 285 all in, and I sold it for 400. So the spread there after fees is about $100,000. Now I did the work, right? But the thing is, I think you could have gotten that house under the same contract, and if I would have bought it for 180, it still would have made sense for me, right? So you would have made $20,000.
Yeah.
That's called wholesaling. And so
wholesaling, yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly. So the other people may call it flipping paper. Et cetera. So it's a good way people start now. But if you don't,
is that the same? Sorry to interrupt. Is that the same as like there was like a dog or I forgot the name, but they called it like a dog something doing that, flipping the houses. I forgot.
Yeah, there's a term called bird dog. And it's like a term that means you go out, you look for rundown houses, and That would be like maybe you get paid hourly, or maybe you bring a deal to a wholesaler. But to actually wholesale it yourself, you need to be the one to get it under contract, and then you need to find a buyer before the closing date and assign it to the buyer. So you could work as a bird dog. It's an old term. It's not used as much anymore, but usually that means you're not doing the wholesaling yourself, but you're getting paid for like going out and looking for deals.
Okay.
So, what other questions do you have while we're on the phone?
I wanted to know, do you need like a license to do this, or how can we, I don't know, really just taking the next steps. I know you have I went to your bio and saw the chat that you have.
Yeah. Well,
and I was just wondering, how do I join that, or?
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, I actually have an 8-video course that answers the top questions I get from people who want to flip paper. So I'll send that to you.
Okay.
It's I'll give you the link, but it's elite.davidlecco.com, and I'll send that to you. But, to answer your question, here in Texas and in about 45 of the 50 states, you don't need a license. Now, as long as you get the property under contract yourself, then you could actually assign that contract and accept an assignment fee or a finder's fee. The place people get in trouble is if you couldn't list a house for sale on the market if you don't own the house. But since you have it under contract, that is like an equitable interest in that house because you yourself have it under contract. And so that's what allows you to then market the property to a cash buyer. So in Texas, you wouldn't need a license.
Okay. And to get it under contract, how would you go about doing that?
You only need 5 things. You need a seller's name, you need your name, the buyer, and then you need a purchase price, and you need a property address and a closing date. Those are the 5 things you need on a contract to close a house. Okay. You could Google for the Texas state license, or I have like a simple 3-page license as well. It's dealmachine.com/purchase-agreement. And I could send that to you as well. But that's how you do it. You typically need to find properties that look run down and also market to them. So that could be making calls, asking if they want to receive an offer on their house. And some people will say yes. And because you targeted houses that are run down, they probably would prefer a person to come in and quickly give them a cash offer. And then so you get a great price, they get speed and convenience. So that's typically how these deals work. Yeah, they wouldn't be listed. They wouldn't be listed anywhere. You'd have to go find them.
And it's not like I need $250,000 to buy this because I'm going and finding someone else who's going to go buy it for $300,000, say, or something like that, right? Is that how it kind of works?
Yeah, it would. Yes, correct. You're not using the cash to buy the deal when you're wholesaling. Correct.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for reaching out. I really want to stay in touch and keep in touch and try to work at this because, I kind of like, flipping things, and I feel like this was right up my alley. So,
I can tell you're excited about it.
Yeah, man, you don't know how bad I want to it's not even about the money. I like, flipping things. And like I said, my grandpa, he's in the realty business. So I'm leaning towards getting that license once I'm out of school, just having that under my belt and everything else. So thank you.
Hey, you're so welcome. I know you'll be successful. I didn't used to think, you work out 6 times a week, right? So, I know you have discipline, and it just takes, it's discipline that produces the success in this business, because a lot of people like yourself, they get excited, but then they talk to 10 property owners and they hear no 10 times, and they think it won't work for them. But, that determination of going to the gym 6 times a week is the same determination you're gonna need to bring to this. You're gonna need to talk to like 500 property owners at least. Mm-hmm. And they'll have 499 no's and 1 yes. And that's about what it takes. If you look at the biggest brands that do this business, you might have seen Homevestors, We Buy Ugly Houses. Have you ever seen those billboards?
Yeah, I have.
Cool. I like to mention it because it really solidifies it is an actual business you can do when you see a big brand like that. That's their whole business. Yeah. They put a cash offer on that house, and as soon as they get under contract, they market it to a list of their own cash buyers. And the cash buyers are just dudes that own rental properties, right? So Homevestors isn't even the one that closes on the property. They assign it. They make an assignment fee, and that's their whole business. So that's just something I wanted to share with you, because I know they probably mail 20,000 households to get like 3 yeses. And so as a beginner, we're not going to send direct mail at that great extent. We're not going to run TV commercials and billboards. Yeah. But what we're going to do is we're going to find rundown houses, and we're going to make cold calls to them or knock on their doors, right? Calls, yes, sir. Exactly.
Okay, and another question: Do you have like people who work for you and make calls to houses for you, or are you kind of by yourself in your?
I always recommend doing it by yourself first, because I had a buddy who called me. He said, "Hey, I had to fire my cold caller," And I was like, why? He said, well, he's working 8 hours a day. He'd make about 300 calls per day. And I was like, hold up. I make 160 calls in an hour and a half. So if he was charging you 8 hours and only making 300 calls, you had a problem and you didn't even know it because you didn't know how to make the calls yourself. So I always say, before you open up your wallet, invest your time, understand how to do the job first. So that way you know if the person you hired is actually doing a good job or not.
You know what the numbers should look like.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I'll definitely stay in touch with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing that information in the direct message.
You're welcome. I'm rooting for you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. See you, Carlos. Bye.
All right. See you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.